gonna wave and be like, hey,
They're gonna
hey.
be curious. They're like, oh, what are they doing? What are they
Yeah.
up to?
Ready? Hi. Welcome to the E Factor. I'm Cornelius Bryant, the president of the Renaissance Man School of Etiquette. This is my special guest.
Hello, my name is Evelyn. I'm the facilitator at the Renaissance Man.
Okay, Evelyn, tell us a little about yourself.
So I majored in psychology. So I went to California Baptist University where I did my 4-year degree in psychology. And currently I'm a facilitator for the Renaissance Man, but I am also a mental health counselor. So I've been in the mental health field for many years.
Okay, so you can help me out there with my problems. Okay.
Sure, I'll try.
All right. Hey, I bet everybody's wondering, hey, looks like they're outside. We are. We're actually outside the station. You can see right here, KCAA radio station. And believe it or not, our show was already scheduled, but the engineer has COVID. So here we are. We still want to come just to bring you something. And like you say, you're a psychologist, and that's part of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about different emotions, you know, especially once you lay it out for us. We're going to tell you the exact one that we want to talk about. There's one in particular. All right, so when you talk about emotions, what are we talking about?
So definitely during the holidays, there are very many emotions. You know, a lot of people correlate the holidays with happiness, you know, with family, with friends, you know, where you can get together and celebrate. But we cannot forget there are a lot of people who don't correlate the holidays with happy emotions. You know, there's sadness. They maybe just lost a loved one. Maybe a loved one is in the army, you know, or maybe they are incarcerated. You know, we don't know what people are going through, but it's good to be mindful about there's so many emotions. You know, it's so easy to be stuck in our own bubble. Like, oh, like my friends, my family, how much fun, you know, it is. But it's always good to be watching out for everyone. And, you know, like if you see someone who's, you know, maybe they're isolating, or maybe they're not wanting to participate in, you know, the Christmas events, just like reach out to them, you know, because you really don't know what they're going through. And it's our job, you know, to be very vigilant and mindful about other people during this holiday, because a lot of people do isolate, you know. Maybe we don't hear from them and we're like, oh, they must be busy doing something, but really they're like at home alone, you know. So it's a very broad subject, but yeah, there are very many emotions during this season. So from happy to sad.
Well, even this season too, it puts a lot of pressure on people.
Yes.
Because when you see people like right now, traffic's bumper to bumper, the stores, everybody's packed in there.
Yes.
But if you don't have money for this, so now that causes depression, because now, you know, see all these people spending money on all these gifts and doing all the Christmas lights and all that, and you don't have the money for it. That could become depressing, so that can cause an emotional strain on people too.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people, we're human, so obviously we're gonna compare, like, oh, that family is going to New York for the holidays, or look at them, they're getting all the toys they ever asked for, you know. And it's hard because, you know, when you see someone else having like all these wonderful things and the money to buy the things, you start to compare, and that diminishes like your light or your happiness for the holidays. So it's important to, you know, just check yourself, you know, what is the real reason of Christmas, you know. For me is that Jesus was born, you know, in a manger. Right. For me, that's the meaning of Christmas, you know, that our Savior is born. And a lot of people, to them, it means like family. Okay, as long as our family is healthy and together, that's you know, that's a blessing in itself. But it's hard to, as humans, to check ourselves and be grateful for what we do have, you know, because we're not always gonna have what someone else has, and that's, as soon as you start comparing, that's going to compromise just your gratefulness.
That's right. You know, it's not worth it all the time to do it. So like you say, as humans, we look at things differently. We look at what people have and what they're doing and what we don't have. But like I say, at the end of the day, the main reason for Christmas was the birth of Christ, our Savior. And so when we put all these other things in front of it and we turn it into something that is really not meant to be, that's when extra pressure comes in. And so now you're like, I got to keep up with the Joneses, I got to do what these people do, you know. Then your kids look at you and they say, little Johnny over there, he's getting a new PS5 and all this, and all you can get for him is maybe just a little fire truck or what have you. And so that not only depresses the parent, but the child is depressed. So that depresses the parent more, because you're like, I can't do for my child what I really want to. And but the thing is that you got to realize a lot of people, like you said, who lost loved ones. So you take these people who just lost loved ones, let's say within this year, 2023, and this will be their first Christmas without them. They trade all the money in the world to have that person there for the love. Absolutely. And so we need to stay focused on that's what it's all about, the way we love and where we care for each other.
Yeah, and you hit a very important point, because we are like consumerism. We just want to consume, buy, shop, buy everything, and then when the time comes, your child plays with the toy, with the box of the toy that toy came in,
Right.
And that's why it's so important to not be just not be super focused on the material things, because it's just material things at the end of the day. So how about you teach your child, or whoever is in your family, is let's focus on family and making new traditions. Let's make a cookie baking contest, within the family, instead of focusing on the toys, on the material things, because then that's when our focus as humans goes into, I don't have enough and this person does. It's like when you focus on the spirit of Christmas, the real reason of Christmas, then your whole mind shifts. And that's where we want to, head to. And you mentioned another thing about losing a family member. What they wish is that they do not care about the toys. They just wish that family member was there. They don't even care about how much money they have in the bank account. So it really shifts your perspective once you put your mindset into theirs. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to be consumed by materialistic things. I want to be consumed about loving my family, being there for them, supporting them, in every need capacity that you can.
Right, and even if you think about it, even when it comes to food, when it comes to food, a lot of people, because they don't have the resources for all the different foods that they may want. But, if you put everything, like say, in perspective, that I don't care if you're only having a sandwich. If you're having a sandwich with the people you love, that's more important.
Yes.
Because, you sit there and next thing you know, you're, so-and-so, they're having this. And, but then if you think about it, just to sit there with your family and look at them and talk to them, and be able to have them there with you and just show love toward one another, that's a meal in itself. That's better than a meal, because the love is there. Because we get so caught up sometime, and it's like we were watching this movie just last night. House, everything was just fabulous. I mean, it was unbelievable. But everybody there didn't like the other people who were there, they were like, oh well. If you're gonna stay, I'm leaving. The people, oh no, stay. No, if this person's coming, I'm leaving. And that's what happens a lot within families now. If certain people are there, the other part of the family, they don't want to be there with them. And so if you put all that aside, what's more important, having the people there with you, or you have this fabulous meal, these fabulous gifts, but everybody in the room hates each other?
Right. Yeah, no one wants to be in that situation. Everyone has family members that they may not get along with, and it's important to protect your own space as well. If someone makes you uncomfortable, okay, maybe you don't want them in your inner circle, and it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to choose like who you want to be around, but hopefully no one,
Right.
No one wants to go that route where they're in the same room with family members that they don't even like, and at the end of the day, things could always be worse. There was a saying that I heard that if everyone put all the problems in the middle of the table, everyone would take back their own problems, because like things could be worse, So it's important to, again, shift your mindset, your perspective, of the real reason of Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas, which is, we have a Savior, Jesus Christ, who was born, who is going to teach us, how to live a fruitful life and how to continue, honoring Him, and then that's when we go to the resurrection and all that, But, it's so important to shift our mind for sure.
Right. When you're saying that about the Savior, I know a lot of people say, well, all the wars and all the bad things happen around the world with people, should I still believe in this? And so it's hard for them to comprehend that there is a Savior and that this is the reason Christ was born, to save us. When, like you say, you have wars here, wars there. I mean, every time you turn on the radio show, the news, there's someone getting killed here, something bad happening here. But we still have to keep our focus. At the end of the day, that's still what it is. And you know, you have a lot of people, they want to take it and make it out to suit them.
Right, yes.
To suit them. So that's where a lot of this comes in at. You know, all the stuff that goes away from what the main focus is. And that's a big part of the depression. And, you know, even for example, like, you know, with our family, we get together at my mother's house, and there is 5 generations now.
Oh, wow.
5 generations.
So
you
big
have
family.
Big family. All these people
that's
coming
awesome.
together, stuff, and we all love each other. Thank God.
Good.
It's none of that. If they
That's a
coming, I won't be there.
blessing.
Right. But if the person who was the glue of the family, like the grandmother, for example, if she passed, and then now there's no one to hold the family together. And so now everybody just starts to do their own thing, and you know, whatever riff was going on, that can keep going on now because she's not there, the referee, and sort of, hey, don't do this, don't do that. And that causes a great deal of pressure for people too. And so now, you know, it's not just one person, one family. So now you have 4 or 5 generations affected by the loss of this person.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It trickles down, especially when you have a family so close like yours. You know, it's going to affect everyone. And, you know, no one is above feeling grief, right? There's different stages of grief. And it doesn't matter if you have millions of dollars or if you don't have a penny to your name, you're still going to have to suffer grief, right? There's different stages. And, yeah, and it's a blessing that you have a family so close-knit, you know? I also have a family who, we're not as big as your family, but we try to do a lot of traditions, you know, in our home, because my parents are first generation, you know, here in the United States. So I have 4 sisters, so all of us went to college, so we are, you know, slowly trying to make a better life for ourselves, and they provide an awesome life for us. So we just knew from the beginning, you know, it's all about family, you know, keeping close to each other. And for example, we make like gingerbread houses, you know, and we compete. We're very competitive, so we make sure to, like, okay, who's gonna win this year? We go in teams, you know. So there has been years where we just like have so many presents that we were like, that was too much stuff, you know. We just like everyone had so much presents and they were just there, you know, like we didn't pick them up for like a week after, you know, or maybe like a couple of days after. It just felt forever. But now we just we do like a secret Santa, so everyone gets one family member, and a family member writes down like their list of what they want, and then we focus on one person, you know, instead of one person buying like for 6 people. It just became, it wasn't even like the spending, it was just like too much materialistic things, you know. So we shifted to more we've always wanted to do like traditions together, like gingerbread houses, you know, talk about what we're thankful for in the dinner table. So yeah, so I love how you're saying about your family, that yeah, it definitely will affect, you know, if something does happen, you know, to a family member. Right,
and what you said is important because say you're first generations from another country.
Yes.
And it's funny because, you know, we as an American, we have our certain way of celebrating Christmas and things, but we have all the other people who come from different countries and different nationalities. Everybody has a different way of celebrating.
Yes.
And it's amazing, you know, and then we have to be open to these people, you know, if this is the way they want to celebrate and do things, you know, accept that. Don't put them down or look at him sideways or nothing, because we all have a different way that we do things, and we have to accept it. Like I talked to someone recently, they don't even give out gifts.
Oh, really?
They don't. What they say they do, they, like you said about the pulling the name or something.
Yeah, the Secret Santa.
Secret Santa. What they do is they just go around and they write a letter or something for each person that's there about the way they feel about them, what they like about them, all that stuff.
Idea.
And so there's no gift, so there's no reason to say, okay, well, you know, this person has more money, so of course they can give a better gift.
Right.
And I don't have enough money, so I can't give a gift. I may be struggling already. So all they do is just they write down something that they like about everybody else around the table or whatever, everybody there, and that's what they pass out. And that's the way they do it.
Oh, I love that. I love that tradition. I never heard of someone doing that before, but it shifts the focus on just material things to like really having a heartfelt letter about you, you know. So
Right, and I
it's
said that
awesome.
too. Right. Okay, but you know what? I thank you for your time because we're not going to be long. We're out here in the atmosphere. It's getting a little cloudy, but we do thank our audience for joining us. This is Cornelius and Evelyn, all right, with the E Factor Radio Show. We will be back, but next month, January 7th, join me and my special guest, Harold K. Weber. He's a family therapist and marriage counselor. And so we're going to talk about like the after Christmas things, you know, and moving forward for 2024. And so then we'll be back in February for the E Factor show.
Good.
All right. Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for coming
you for
out.
having me.
All right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everybody.
Feliz Navidad y feliz Año Nuevo. Adiós.
All right. Bye. See everybody later.